Greetings, I'm Rob Chappers. Hello, friends and family. Recently, Boss very kindly sent me the new Katana. I'm going to try and get a Jimi Hendrix crunchy, warm, clean. I'm going to try and get a super hyper boogie Joe Satriani surfing type tone. I'm going to try and get a For the Love of God type liquid tubular Steve Vai tone. And then at the end, I'll get my own tone and I'll judge it for me. I'm only using the control panel. You can get all of these tones just by turning a knob or pressing a button. So this is my vintage Jimi Hendrix type tone, starting off with the crunch channel. Probably counterintuitively because you'd think you'd want pushed, but I actually think the crunch channel sounds really good for this Jimmy type tone. All of the gain, but it's not a lot of gain. Not a lot of the volume, but we'll talk about that in a second. Quite a lot of bass to replicate a full stack. Quite a lot of mid to cut through. Backed off the treble just a bit. None of this jiggery pokery whatsoever. None of this. The green verb suits this the best in my opinion. I backed off the presence and I've put quite a lot of the master volume in there. And then the secret sauce is I set the contour to, I don't know if you can see the color here, but it's orange. And that gives you a beautiful Jimi Hendrix tone if you've got the cab resonance on vintage. I'm not a clean player, but this is quite a surprise to me. This is the first time that a Boss Katana has sounded like an organic warm valve amp. And I think what's more surprising is that I haven't used a lot of the new bells and whistles built into the combo. And I'm sure some of this is to do with the way that I'm playing, and probably quite a lot of it is to do with these beautiful Wilkinson R-Series pickups that Pete Honore has in his DPT. And there's a treble bleed and a Sprague orange drop under the hood. All of that vintage spec is adding itself to the flavour, but the flavour's here, and I know it is, because if I use a ghost fret, it's still there. Not a Jimi Hendrix type guitar, Duncan distortion, alternative 8, not a vintage tone, but I've tapped it and check this out. I'm definitely not a Jimi Hendrix tone aficionado, expert. I know a little bit about how he got his sound, and I really enjoy Jimmy's music. I think that touches upon it quite well. Let's move on and see if we can get an 80s type hyper boogie surfing type Joe Satriani sound. Okie dokie, Joe Satriani, one of my favorites. We're moving on to the lead mode here. Gun the gain, a little bit of volume kind of to taste. It's like salt. Half the bass. Tiny bit of scoopage on the middle. Again, the vintage contour, because of course Joe was using Marshall cabs. Half the treble. Now I'm using modulation, green, and just about there. You could go halfway if you want, but it can be a little bit extra depending on your taste. I've put a little bit of delay in there. I'll set this to about, it's like it's about 650. I might be wrong. Someone will tell me what that is exactly, probably. Green reverb, presence back a bit. Lots of master. I've saved it as channel 2, half the volley. It's really really close to the original sort of super studio hyper boogie tone. I wonder if because Joe used to use Boss effects, I mean, it was Marshalls and Boss effects, a lot of it, and obviously he's evolved and changed over time, but that's really close. And a lot of it is the kind of, you know, it's the effect on top, it's the chorusy stuff, the ambience is nuts on, but it's the amp tone really. That's Joe Satriani in a can. And I'm really happy with that. I'm going to remember this patch and keep it forever, I think, because I love jamming all the old Satriani stuff. Well, there you go. Who'd have thunk it? Let me try now and get that super special, creamy, tubey, for the love of God type Steve Vai tone. I think this is going to be quite difficult. Okay, Mr. Steve Vai. Lots of tweaks to get this right. I wanted to be really accurate. So, again with the lead setting, but I've gone for the variation. Makes a big difference, actually. Half the gain, volume to taste, just like salt and pepper. Half the bass, lots and lots of mid. Steve puts a lot of mid in. A little bit of treble. None of this. I mean, you can add it if you want to. I haven't put any delay. I'm going for a For the Love of God tone. Red reverb. You don't want to go more than halfway. Half the presence, lots of volume, and modern cab resonance lands you very approximately in For the Love of God. Yeah, this is a lot harder. Something that I really admire about Steve, aside from being an amazing composer, guitar player, you know, musician, is that his engineering and production skills are, you know, really good. If you listen to any of his music and everything's stacked up and there's space for everything, he's really put a lot of manpower and education into choosing his guitar tone, and this is very specific, and I'm finding it very difficult to get it. I can get the sort of the neck warm thing, but I'm finding it hard to get the sort of the bright thing at the same time. I don't know, what do you think? Let me know. I think I've failed this one. I think I won the first two. Now I'm going to try and find a tone that I think suits me and my playing with this Boss Katana Tuba 12 100 watt Legend amp. And if by any miracle you wanted my control settings, it's this. I went lead. Not all of the game, but almost all. Obviously volume to taste. This is the EQ setting, and I'm using the red contour. No effects, but a little bit of delay, about 650, 700 type time. And then green reverb, half the presence, lots and lots of master. And most important of all, the modern cab resonance. Cheers, guys. It's definitely got it in spades. I think there's a lot of tweakability with this amplifier. Whether you're changing the contour or even just the presence control, I've noticed is quite sensitive. Whether you're making it modern, vintage resonance, it's all allowing you access to tweak to find what it is that you want. I'm great. You know what? The Boss Katana is the 2020s version of what the PV Bandit was when I was a kid. Everybody had one. Everybody needed one. When I went to Guitar Institute to study guitar for a year, the PV Bandit was just all they had. That's what it was. And now I think the Katana is that ubiquitous, everywhere combo that you can trust, know, love. You can sort of rest assured that you can get through a gig. In fact, the last festival I played was with a 2x12 Boss. It was with a Boss Katana head, actually. It was with a head. Anyway, enough of my wattling. Have an amazing day. Hope you've enjoyed this video and it was in some way useful to you. Take it easy. Chappers out.